Intermittent reinforcement is a powerful psychological principle that plays a significant role in shaping and maintaining behaviors. It refers to a situation where rewards or positive outcomes are not given every time a desired behavior occurs, but rather on a variable or unpredictable schedule. This type of reinforcement is known to create strong and persistent behaviors, often making it difficult for individuals to break away from a habit or relationship. Key concepts of intermittent reinforcement. 1. Unpredictability. In intermittent reinforcement, the reward is not given consistently. This unpredictability can make the behavior more compelling because the individual is never sure when the next reward will come. The anticipation of a potential reward keeps the individual engaged, even when rewards are infrequent. 2. Strengthening of behavior. Intermittent reinforcement is known to be more effective at strengthening behaviors than continuous reinforcement, where a reward is given every time. The uncertainty of when the reward will come leads to increased effort and persistence in trying to obtain it. This is why behaviors reinforced intermittently are harder to extinguish. 3. Psychological mechanism. The psychological mechanism behind intermittent reinforcement is rooted in the brain's reward system. When a reward is unpredictable, it triggers a stronger release of dopamine, the brain's feel-good neurotransmitter. This creates a heightened sense of pleasure and motivation, making the individual more likely to continue the behavior in hopes of receiving the reward again. 4. Gambling and addiction. A classic example of intermittent reinforcement is gambling. Slot machines, for instance, are designed to give out rewards on a variable schedule. Players don't win every time, but the occasional wins keep them playing, hoping for the next big reward. This unpredictability can lead to addiction, as the brain becomes hooked on the possibility of a reward despite frequent losses. 5. Relationships and intermittent reinforcement. In relationships, intermittent reinforcement can manifest when one partner provides affection, attention, or validation inconsistently. For example, if someone gives you positive attention only sporadically, it can create a cycle of longing and attachment. You may feel rewarded when they finally give you attention, which reinforces your emotional attachment and makes you more invested in the relationship, even if it's not fulfilling. This can lead to an emotional roller coaster, where the individual becomes increasingly dependent on the sporadic moments of affection or validation, making it harder to leave the relationship even if it's unhealthy. Types of intermittent reinforcement. Fixed ratio. In fixed ratio schedules, a reward is given after a set number of responses. For example, a salesperson might receive a bonus after every fifth sale. Pattern is predictable, but the individual must still perform the behavior multiple times to receive the reward. Variable ratio. In variable ratio schedules, rewards are given after an unpredictable number of responses. Slot machines operate on this principle, as players do not know when the next win will come. This type of reinforcement is particularly powerful because it creates a high level of engagement and persistence. Fixed interval. In fixed interval schedules, rewards are given after a specific amount of time has passed, as long as the desired behavior has been performed. For example, a worker might receive a paycheck every 2 weeks, regardless of how many tasks are completed, as long as they work during that period. Variable interval. In variable interval schedules, rewards are given at unpredictable time intervals. For example, checking your phone for a text message is reinforced on a variable interval schedule. You don't know when the next message will arrive, but you keep checking in anticipation. Impact of intermittent reinforcement on behavior. 1. Persistence of behavior. Intermittent reinforcement creates a strong resistance to extinction, meaning that the behavior continues even when the rewards stop. This is because the individual becomes conditioned to expect a reward eventually, leading them to persist in the behavior despite frequent disappointments. 2. Increased effort. The uncertainty of intermittent reinforcement often leads individuals to increase their efforts. For example, in a relationship where affection is given sporadically, a person might try harder to please their partner, hoping to receive the next reward of attention or affection. 3. Emotional roller coaster. In relationships, intermittent reinforcement can create an emotional roller coaster, where the highs of receiving attention are contrasted with the lows of being ignored. This can create a cycle of emotional dependency where the individual feels compelled to stay in the relationship, hoping for more positive reinforcement. Breaking free from intermittent reinforcement. 1. Awareness and insight. Understanding the concept of intermittent reinforcement is the first step in breaking free from its hold. Recognizing that the rewards are unpredictable and that this unpredictability is keeping you engaged can help you take a step back and assess the situation more objectively. 2. Setting boundaries. In relationships, setting clear boundaries can help reduce the impact of intermittent reinforcement. By deciding what you will and will not accept, you can take control of your emotional well-being and avoid becoming overly dependent on someone else's unpredictable behavior. 3. Seeking consistency. Surrounding yourself with consistent and supportive relationships can help counteract the effects of intermittent reinforcement. Consistent positive reinforcement from others can provide the stability and validation that might be missing in an intermittently reinforced relationship. 4. Self-reflection and growth. Engaging in self-reflection and personal growth can help build your self-esteem and reduce the need for external validation. By focusing on your own goals, values, and self-worth, you can become less susceptible to the emotional ups and downs of intermittent reinforcement. Conclusion. Intermittent reinforcement is a powerful psychological phenomenon that can deeply influence behavior, particularly in relationships and situations where rewards are unpredictable. Understanding how it works can empower you to recognize its effects in your life and take steps to break free from its grip, leading to healthier and more fulfilling relationships and habits.